What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well, that's
how do you define a
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing, when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies, we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
Interesting. So I'm trying to understand. Your definition is that a woman is someone who is female, you said, right?
Correct. Your biological female.
So what happens if we have maybe someone who is female, identifies as a woman, right? Cisgender woman, right? As you just explained, maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce. Maybe doesn't have those organs that you're talking about that are reproductive organs.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not myself.
But you used the word, so what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right. So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people
that describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own. Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently. And so trans women are women too.
Okay.
And you want to hold on.
Trans women are women. You won't even tell me what the word means, though. So that's the problem.
You want to reduce women, you want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals, our chromosomes, right? That's what you're saying.
What you want to do is what you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood.
Okay.
And turn it into basically a costume that could be worn.
Do you know what? I just want to say, there is. I don't know what you think about this, Sheila, but how offensive is that person sat there and said, "Well, what about women who can't reproduce?" I mean, basically saying that a woman who cannot reproduce is not a real woman. I mean, surely that is the pinnacle of offensiveness. Surely, if they want to talk offensive, surely that statement alone is enough for someone to go, hang on a minute, no, you're talking nonsense there. Like, just because something doesn't work automatically means you're not a real person. Like, that's their definition of it, surely. So that to me just screams like you're delegitimizing women across the world by saying that. And that's so wrong.
Yeah, they are taking women with a biological disorder. They're taking biological women, genetic women with a medical condition that causes infertility and lumping them in with the guys in a dress and high heels and drawn-on eyebrows. That is truly offensive. It's funny because as a woman, I've lived as a woman my whole life. I'm raising a couple of them. To see these two activists speak on behalf of me is gross. You know, further in this appearance by Matt, they talk about, maybe Mr. Producer can bring it up. They talk about the issue of Loudoun County and transgender washrooms, or open washrooms, sorry, that everybody can just, if you identify as a girl, you can go in the girls' bathroom. And Matt brings up what a security issue this is for girls. And the professor, there's this weird professor lady with a really bad haircut. Normally I don't judge because I have unruly hair, but hers is like, she's obviously in a fight with her dad. That's why she did that to her hair. And she basically says, well, I'm not sure if that's a safety issue. Right after Matt says, in Loudoun County, a girl was raped in the bathroom. Her dad was arrested at a school board meeting for even raising the issue. And this woman goes, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if it's a safety issue. Well, it is for me and my girls, and it is for that dad in Loudoun County. And we can't even be critical of this issue because somebody then says, oh, it's a safety issue because you hurt my feelings. But girls are being raped in bathrooms, and that's not a security issue. That's not a safety issue. It's ridiculous.
Well, exactly. And I think as well, Matt Walsh made the best counter argument there that we literally can dig up people, well, I say women who have died hundreds of years ago, and you do not even need to know what they were thinking. Just by forensical scientific analysis, you can determine what sex that person is. And that shows to you that it's not just in your head of how it's measured. It's measured through genetics, DNA, chromosomes, and X, Y, and Z. And I think it's shocking that that people have fallen to this idea of it's all measured around feeling. I don't think you can measure that. I don't think that's immeasurable. So it's almost now, it's an issue that is really polarizing people, and it's polarizing children as well, and it's making children almost scared to even say, hang on a minute, well, this doesn't seem right. And that's what's worrying, not being able to critique. I think being able to critique an idea for better ideas is how you move forward. And it's almost like these people have made their mind up on what they would like to believe, and they don't want anything else. So therefore, everyone else is wrong. But yeah. I think the pinnacle of that was that person turning around and saying, yeah, well, what if a woman can't reproduce? What if their sexual organs aren't working? That means that they're essentially, what they're saying is, that means that they're not a real woman. That it's just, that's so unbelievably
You may as well
offensive.
be a guy in a wig, is what they're saying.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Later on in that appearance, Matt made the point that there are, as I always call them, mediocre men stealing opportunities from girls. And the activist said, oh, look at him, talking about women. Who does he think he is? But you're just a guy in makeup. You don't get to speak for me either, but at least Matt is saying, get out of girls' sports. This is deeply personal for me because my daughter trains probably 8 days a week. She plays high-level competitive rugby at an international level. But as Mr. Producer brought up, she can train 8 days a week. She's in the gym, she's lifting, she's running, she's tackling, she's running drills all the time, serious about her nutrition. She's 15, but those 15-year-old boys are much bigger than her. And two things are going to happen if things are allowed to proceed the way they are. A mediocre boy who's flunked out of the national team program is going to take her spot on the girls' team, as we see all the time in swimming these days. They're just swimming, cycling, weightlifting, flunk out of the male stuff and just go over and steal a spot from a girl who's worked really hard for it. Or her career is going to be ended because she's going to be across the scrum from a boy who identifies as a girl, and she's going to receive a serious injury. And if this madness is going to continue, that's what we're facing in my family. But it's going to be faced by every family with a high-level female athlete. This is truly the end of female sports, unless we put a marker down and say this is crazy, enough is enough. But we cannot feel our way out of biology. Oh, hi. That was a clip from our Rebel Daily Livestream. It's hosted Monday, Wednesday, and Friday by the big boss man, Ezra Levant, and Tuesdays and Thursdays by me, Sheila Gunn Reid, and my good friend, David Menzies. On the live stream, we talk about the news of the day, we show some videos, and we interact with our viewers at home. We stream at 12 noon Eastern, 10 Mountain. You can find us on YouTube, Rumble, Super U, and Odyssey.